Hi, in this video tutorial of Urban Informatics, we will be looking to create a pedestrian simulation using the Tyflow plugin for 3ds Max. First, we'll begin by creating a rough 3D model of a city, which will serve as our base model for our simulation. First, we'll create a rectangle by selecting the option in the top right and clicking to set the shape. Next, we'll draw some freehand guidelines by going to Splines and choosing the line option. First, we'll create a simple straight line by clicking where we want the line to start and holding the shift button to keep it orthogonal. The second line we'll create will be a curved one. Click once, then hold the left shift button to create the curve. These paths will act as the guidelines for our simulation. Next, we copy and paste our two lines. Tick the copy option and move them to the side for now. Then with our initial line selected, navigate to the top right and in the modifier options, look up and select Spline Offset. In the Spline Offset options, select the end type to open but. Then with the rectangle selected, press the Create button and under the drop-down options, choose Compound Shapes. In Object Type, press Shape Boolean. Under Booleans parameters, select the Subtract options and then add Booleans. Then choose the offset lines of our two lines. This will trim into our rectangle. This will be the baselines for our rough city model. Next, select the shape, and in our Modifier tab, select Quantify Mesh. This will divide up our shape into a grid. Next, in the Modifiers, select Greeble. Now we have a randomly generated city block. In our viewport, turn it to perspective so we can get a better view. Shading to default shading. Now we can move our copied lines into the spaces of our newly created paths. Once our geometries are in place, we are free to start Tyflow. We will begin by first creating a Tyflow start icon by going to the standard primitives and selecting Tyflow. This will create our first Tyflow object. Then, under Helper, we will create a Ty icon. We will then rotate this and place it near our first path. Then select the Tyflow and under Modifiers, open up the editor. In the editor, click and drag in a birth component to start Tyflow. We will then need to add a position icon, a speed icon, a shape modifier, a physics shape modifier, and once it's all done, a send out component. Now we'll need to add a path follow as a separate event and place a slow modifier above it. The order of our components matters. Click on position and pick the Tyflow icon. Then in speed, under direction, select a long icon arrow. In display and under type, pick large dots to make it more visible. Let's also increase the size multiplier to 2. Then connect send out to event 2. In path, choose our straight line. When we drag our timeline, we can see that our particles follow our chosen straight line. However, we can see that it doesn't quite follow it perfectly. To fix this in path follow, we can turn off the spin velocity by setting it to 0 and increasing the attraction velocity to 1 and follow velocity to 2. Next, we will set the simulation for our next curve. Copy and paste our original Tyflow circle. Make sure that you set the copy, as we want to have 2 unique Tyflow scripts. Next, create a new icon. Click, drag, and rotate it into position. Now we open our editor. Notice how everything is the same as we originally left it previously. We will just be adding a few adjustments, like deleting our old tie icon and setting our new one in position icon. Then under follow path follow, we do the same thing and select our new curved line. When we drag our timeline, the particles will follow the curve of our line, but notice how it's flying far away a bit. To fix this, increase the attraction velocity until it is satisfactory. Here we will also set the display to big dots. Now we have a Tyflow particle simulation in 3ds Max. That is the end of our tutorial. I hope you learned something and enjoyed it.